My 38 male wife 34 female has been cheating on me for more than a year with her childhood love. After me helping her through her depression for over a year. I'm not going to use my real username for this, but I feel compelled to relate my experience. I've discussed it with close friends and members of my family, but I'm expecting to get some valuable knowledge and help from this forum as well. I'm aware that the Reddit community is also a healthful environment. So, let's get started. We've been together for 16 years and have been married for around 6 years. We have 2 little children, younger than 6 years old. I've been dragging her through a depression for the better part of 2 years. Despite the fact that she hasn't had an easy upbringing, there have been times when her worst thoughts have entered her mind. But we were able to get through each time. The day of our wedding was perfect, and we were completely in love with one another. After the birth of our second kid, though, she began to change dramatically. Returning to her adolescent self, she shares her thoughts and feelings. Shadowy, melancholy, and irritable. I was a little late in seeing this since I was preoccupied with our children at the time, and had a conversation with her. She first denied any wrongdoing, claiming that she was just exhausted and that the weight of life was becoming too much for her. However, as time went on, she began to deteriorate fast. She confessed to having made preparations to commit herself about a year before. She decided not to go through with them because of our children, and I took it upon myself to continue to assist her through this difficult time, even if it means accepting part of the guilt for her plight. I sought help from a psychotherapist and worked hard to maintain my composure. We had a chat about the direction in which our relationship was heading a while back. There were moments when we were having a terrific time, and then there were others when we wouldn't even converse. She acknowledged at that point that she was no longer happy, and that she didn't want to continue our marriage any longer. Consequently, it was my very first hit, and it was a hard one. There are so many thoughts flying through my brain right now. Concerning the children, our home, my future, and her gloomy mood. We debated, we discussed, and we came to practical conclusions. Up until about a week ago, everything was okay. I couldn't stop thinking about what had transpired to cause her to want to abandon her family. I just inquired as to whether or not there was anybody else. Now, this is the part that has struck me the hardest, and apart from some suggestions from friends and family, I have no idea how to deal with it. She was having an affair with another man, who was also married and even had a young kid, who seemed to have been born during the affair with my wife. Now, as distressing as all of this is, I began checking into it right away. And this person is someone she had a relationship with when she was in her 20s. During this time, she was also in a very dark place, and he even pursued her for a period of time during this period. His persistence has finally been shown, with the discovery of her in her vulnerable position and the subsequent taking advantage of her. The search for a redeeming element to salvage our marriage is done. It's time to let it go. I'm seeking for methods to digest this for myself, as well as ways to lessen his hold on her so that it doesn't have an impact on our children. He has manipulated her and has no intention of forming a relationship with her. He merely wants to have with her. He doesn't talk to her since the show must conclude on time, but she is at his disposal. The opposite happens when he ignores her. When he acknowledges her, she is pleased, and so on. Actually, this isn't the case, although it seems to be the case. Currently, we are still living together while attempting to complete all of the necessary requirements to dissolve our marriage and relocate. Nonetheless, I need to find a way to live with this, with the knowledge that he is feeding her despair, that he has visited our home, and that he has been using my wife for more than a year. Story 2. Won't marry my 32M girlfriend, 29F. Because she previously said she could do better, and I now feel like I just fit her plan of getting married by 30. Met her 6 years ago, friends for a year, dated 6 months, which were great. She starts pulling away. I beg her to be with me. I know this was a mistake. She ends it saying she just dated me because she didn't want to ruin the friendship, weird, and she felt she could do better. She is better looking than me, but I earn well and stay physically fit. So this never crossed my mind till she said that. Next 2 years she dates a bunch of people, we stay in touch on and off. Then she starts ramping up how much she contacts me and practically asks me out. Have been dating for the Past 2 years. She recently asked me to propose. I said no, and I didn't know if or when it would become a yes. She said I wasted 2 important years of her life because she wanted to get married by 30. If I am being honest, it was a great ego boost when she started chasing me. Relationship is great, but I feel like she believes she is settling for me. Not just because of the fact that she said she could do better in the past, but also just to meet the goal of getting married by 30, which is stupid to live by, but I do get that vibe. I've done well for myself, and I don't like the idea that the person I'm with feels they could have done better if she had more time. I did talk to her, and she is just pee. That I wasted 2 important years of her life, and that she wasn't settling, but her words did nothing to convince me. Can't shake this feeling of being settled for and this being forced. I want someone who truly loves me, and I don't think she does. Any thoughts or advice? Story 3. A week of heartbreak. This past week, I found that Miso had had relations with trans prostitutes as well as a random lady he picked up for Uber in the 2 months leading up to the birth of our baby. Needless to say, I've been in the most depressing state of mind I've ever been in. The treachery, the falsehoods, and the gaslighting are all painful experiences. The facts have been revealed to me, and the dates have been established, and he has stated that if I hadn't discovered the situation, he would have continued. He has apologized, confessed, and blamed himself and only himself. He has also given me the details, and I have established the dates. I entertained the notion of remaining for a little period, but I have no intention of ever considering the possibility. She said that I had squandered 2 crucial years of her life because she wanted to get married by the age of 30. If I'm being really honest, it was a fantastic ego boost when she began chasing after me. Our relationship is amazing, but I get the impression that she fears she has made a mistake by choosing me. Not just because she has said that she could do better in the past, but also to reach the goal of getting married by the age of 30, which is a ridiculous goal to live by. But I get the impression she is trying to achieve it. Because he would have continued if I hadn't discovered it, and partly because he hasn't come up with a compelling reason for why he has changed. His explanation for why he would never do this again is that discovering it has shown him that he can't lose me or our child. And that's simply not good enough. That should have been the thought when you ed 3 different people while I was at home so pregnant that I couldn't get up without assistance. His grandma died away the next day, so I've been kind and nice to him during this process. I'm not telling him about my plans to leave right now, and I won't tell him about them for a long since. I need to get my life in order first. Set up an apartment and work out the practicalities of collecting all of my belongings and transporting them halfway across the nation by car. In my current position, I do not have the luxury of running at a high rate of speed, which is a shame. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm at a loss for words when describing it.